Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Everybody, you want to get away with the Orville? Because sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Bum, 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 and you're always glad you came. You want to go, you guys, and we're going to do it. We're going to engage Quantum Drive, and we're going to go where everybody knows our name on the Orville. What's going on? How are you guys doing? I am excited to be here. Hello, that cat lover. I am also one of those cat lovers. I love my cat. Archmage Frey, what's going on? Norm! I would love it if maybe Gordon next season goes on an environmental simulator program, an eSim, that is just a recreation of the Cheers set, and Norm is there. Maybe Norm's got some advice to give him. Curtis Tate, Jaloja. Let me press some buttons here, you guys. Here's a button. Jaloja to you. Jaloja to one now. Oh, of course it didn't show up because I don't have my desktop audio on. Let's
Jaloja!
The audio is gone. These damn buttons, you guys. This is what happens when you have to use OBS instead of, what do they call it? StreamYards, because StreamYards are just crazy expensive for what they give you. So let me try that again. Hey, Archmage, Curtis Tate. I hope you guys got that Jaloja that I sent you all. Blaze, Dale Murph, Kevin Seeley, Roberta, Kroom, official channel member, Brian Moore, Stewie21, Roman, Margot Bede. What's up, Jonathan Perez? Lost audio, JP. I know. These things happen during these live streams. You never know what you're going to get. These live streams are like a box of chocolates where some of them are just going to suck. They're going to have coconut in them. That's why you got to buy boxes of chocolate that have a bite taken out of each piece so you know what you're going to get. So I'm taking the bite out of everyone's piece of chocolate today. Brian Moore, Blaze Media, hey, how you doing, everyone? We're going to be watching not only the biggest episode of New Horizons of the Orville, from the Orville, we're going to be watching the biggest episode they've ever done, effects-wise, work-wise. Domino just blows Identity Part 1 and 2 out of the water, and those are the top two episodes. The top two fan favorites are Identity 1, Identity 2. The next one is what we watched last weekend, Twice in a Lifetime, number 3. And then I have to look and see. I can't do it right now because all my real estate on my computer screens are taken up right now. But Domino, I'm sure, is probably number 4. Or maybe it's one of those episodes where you don't even rate it because it's so good. So we're watching that in just a few minutes here. You can cue it up on your end. We'll do the whole 3, 2, 1, and I'll press play at the same time, but you'll be able to keep track of what's going on right here on this screen that you're watching right now. I have a whole little episode area going on right here. That's part of the real estate as well. Oh, and for those of you that are watching this as a rerun, video on demand, or shown up later, and you want to start from the beginning, once I'm done with this stream, I'll go back, I'll go into the description, and I'll put in the exact time slot when the watch party begins. It'll be a chapter, the bottom of the screen. Woo, there'll be little chapters right here, you guys, and one of them will say, if you hover over it, it'll say beginning of watch party or something like that, and you click on that and it'll take you right there, so you don't have to waste time talking to this ugly mug. You can just get to the watch party part. Now, of course, during the watch party, we'll be chatting the entire time, talking about what we see, what we think about what we see, and whatever else comes to our minds. This week, what I've been doing, I've watched a few things. I've watched the entirety of White Lotus on HBOmax, season 2, which I liked a lot better than season 1. Both seasons are done very well. They're both great products, but I just like the characters of season 2 much better. And there's some spoiler stuff that I'm not going to get into because there's a big to-do in the final episode of the season. I actually had an extra episode in season 2. Season 1 had 6 episodes. Season 2 had 7 episodes. Highly recommend it. It's a little adult, just FYI. Don't be watching it with the kids unless you got some kids that give no F's, I guess. I guess what F's they give is up to you as a parent. Another thing I watched this week, just the other night, The Crazies, with my buddy, my best friend, Timothy Oliphant, or as I call him, Tim Ollie. I remember seeing that when it originally came out, I think in 2010, The Crazies, which is, it's kind of a zombie movie, but not really. It's crazy. People got turned crazy. If I made the film, I would have had a lot more of the crazies and a lot less of the military. When the military comes in, I don't care about fighting the military. I want to fight whatever the weird thing that's going on. But it's a good film-ish. It was perfect for the time that it came out. It's a good watch, I will have to say, in this day and age. But yeah, I would have made some changes if I was in charge of that film, except for the Timothy Oliphant part. He gets to stay. John Smith, well, I usually count 2-part episodes as one whole episode. I kind of do that with Identity 1 and 2. I've always called it, even when talking to Seth and John, I always refer to it as the Identity Saga. Nobody calls it that except for me. But I put both of them together because you kind of need both of them, don't you? So I call it the saga. Tamale, fabulous. Yeah, that's how me and Tamale are. We're just buddy buds like that. Hopefully someday. Brian Moore, I liked watching Extraordinary on Hulu. That show was a good one, I do have to say. I watched that when it first came out 2-3 weeks ago. Absolutely fell in love with Extraordinary. The humor was exactly the type of humor that I like. Kind of having fun with the superhero genre. Plenty of funny parts, and I love the characters. Yeah, I did love the characters. I love the whole premise of Extraordinary. If you guys haven't checked out Extraordinary yet, and Hulu's available to you some way, somehow, you can check it out on Hulu, but I'm sure in other parts of the world, it's available on other streaming services. Oh yeah, Curtis Tate says, I like Timothy Oliphant on The Office. And then Timothy Oliphant also, in relation to The Office, Michael Schur, who is one of the main writers of The Office, eventually became one and now became his own big deal. He came out with Parks and Recreation, which is my absolute favorite, but he also did The Good Place. Timothy Oliphant was on The Good Place playing himself. It was hilarious. And why you change your YouTube channel name? I changed it back, is what actually happened. For those that came in specifically during the Orville times, this channel used to be called Egotastic FunTime, but the Orville did so much for me as a content creator that I wanted to kind of give a tribute to the Orville. Still always want to do that. That's why I'm still talking about the Orville, because I owe that production so much. I wanted to pay a tribute, and I wanted to let people know that, hey, this is the place. If you like the Orville, this is the place to be, because we're always going to be talking about the Orville, doing fun stuff with the Orville, fun guests from the Orville. And so I changed it to Talking the Orville. As I ended up doing it for too long, but that was because of the pandemic. I wanted to do Talking the Orville as we counted down to when New Horizons, which at that time was referred to as the Orville Season 3 in our minds, I wanted to, lead up to that. And then boom, we all get together and we talk about season 3, which ended up becoming New Horizons and had a couple years in between seasons. So I kept it going for that long, but I always knew that eventually I was going to change back to Egotastic FunTime once New Horizons was done. So now I'll just be going forward as Egotastic FunTime, or Talking the Orville on Egotastic FunTime, Talking Ted on Egotastic FunTime. Of course, when when Ted comes out in a few months, we'll be talking a lot about Ted. The Cat Lover says, question, what is your favorite character, or who is your favorite character as well, on the Orville? That has always been a tough question. I always usually end up going with Kelly, because just as a character, the stuff that she goes through, the way she handles things is more akin to the way that I am. I don't have any space battles under my belt or anything like that, but I just usually identify with her more. But of course, there's so many characters to love. I mean, Gordon, John, Tala, Ed, of course, Yaphet, Bortus, Clyden, Topa, Havina, Talia, Gently Falling Rain. I can't remember what's the kid's name. I got so many names going through my head right now. Tharl. It just goes on and on and on. There's so many wonderful characters that have been created. Unk. But usually it's like just as a person, liking a person, I've always identified with Kelly the most. Gia says, where did you get that Planetary Union Central thing on your wall? I'd love to get one for my room. Well, that would be up to Egotastic FunTime, Egopanion, fan supporter, John Palange. I don't know if he's here today. He makes these. So I don't know if he sells them or makes more than just a handful for a couple people, but he made me that, and I love it. It's my favorite thing on my wall. It's made of wood. It's nice and heavy. It's thick. It's painted to look like metal. It's the only Orville thing I have on my wall right now, on any of my walls, except for I do have a picture with Jay Lee and me and my wife on that wall, but you guys can't see that one. That one's just for me. That's just for me, Jessica, and Jay Lee. Arkmay says, everyone already forgetting to give love to Chief Newton. Now, Chief Newton left us at the beginning of episode 11, season 1, I believe, New Horizons. No, New Horizons, New Dimensions, where we go into a 2D universe. He went off to be in charge, be the chief of a space station for the Union. It would be very nice to visit that station someday, or maybe even get a spin-off. Deep Space Union Station, whatever they want to call it. Jaloja Jeff B, welcome to the watch party. Dan the Man, of course. And then, of course, I came out a couple years ago with my Dan song based on Billie Eilish's Bad Guy. I did a song called Dan Guy. I'm a Dan guy, duh. Oh, The Good Place is not only one of my favorite shows. I've seen every episode at least 100 times, and it actually has affected my life. The Good Place, the lessons to be learned in The Good Place is it changed the way that I see the world. So I very much am indebted as a person, as a human, to the show The Good Place, which also, going back to Cheers, has kind of a Cheers homage, not really, but kind of, with Michael, the character Michael, played by Green, Admiral Green on the Orville. He kind of did some bartending stuff in one of the final season. I think he did it a couple times. Blaze, the cat lover, JP did a great job on Axanar as well. Yeah, I had fun live streaming for Axanar's filming a couple years ago. Now, they just filmed recently again a couple weeks ago, a week or two ago. I was invited to go to come out, but I had too much going on. It was too short notice, so I was like, I can't make it. But yeah, they were going to fly me out, hopefully to do the live stream again. I love doing it. I like doing live streams more than, putting together a video, I do have to say. Get just a little bit more energy, get the crowd talking, saying stuff. It's always a good time. Union Station Alpha, USA, USA. We're number one. Janet. Yeah. Janet. Oh, gosh. Darcy Carden, I believe her name is. She's also plays a pretty fun character on Barry on HBO. That was pretty fun. Ted Danson, duh. And I know that. Ted Danson is one of those names that will always be in my brain. But, I have a hard time coming up with words sometime doing these live shows. Madam Zelda, welcome back. The Good Place. I was talking to a philosophy professor on the bus. He said they had a huge uptick in students thanks to The Good Place. Oh, I absolutely believe it. If I were younger, I would be one of those students signing up. Everyone should have a Janet. I kind of got one sitting over there, an AI robot that answers questions. Also can turn off lights and things like that. Oh, is Avenue 5 out for a third season, Archmage? Archmage says, while we're here, rip Avenue 5. Avenue 5 was a lot of fun. I am sad to hear, if I'm assuming that they're not getting a season 3, but the first 2 seasons were fun. I would have loved to have seen what trouble they get into in season 3, if they got one. But yeah, that was a fun show. I loved how just every episode, something got worse every single time. It was great. Chidi has a role in the upcoming Ant-Man movie. Oh, very nice. I've seen him show up in some pretty good stuff. He was in the second season. He was the star of the second season of, I don't remember what it was called, but it was kind of like, navigating through romance and breakups and stuff like that. It was a pretty good story. Can't remember what it was called, though. Newton left to design stations, not command them. Oh, I know he was helping design a station. But yeah, he wouldn't command them. He'd be the chief. But yeah, if he gets to design multiple stations, that's pretty cool. I don't remember it being that, but I remember him being in charge of designing a station, and that's why he was leaving. Either way, it was all for the purpose of having a spot for John to fill as chief of the Orville. Archmage says the article I read was titled something like HBO remembered they hadn't canceled Avenue 5. They're like, oh yeah, we better cancel it. That's the thing with these streaming services. If a show comes out that's somewhat pricey to make and isn't the best show ever made, like the best views, it might be the best show ever made, but the best views, these streaming services will just cancel it. You got to be the best if you cost money. If you're cheap to make, they'll renew you a bunch of seasons right off the bat. One episode comes out and they automatically announce you get 2 more seasons. That's because it's cheap, cost-wise. All right, you guys, it is about time here to start the live watch party. We're going to keep the conversation going, though, but let me just set this up a little bit. It's going to take a few button smashes here. So let me reduce this thing. Let me unreduce this thing. And let me press this thing over here, which fires up the Ego Theater. Ego Theater is up and ready to go. So are you guys ready for Domino, our goodbye to Charlie Burke? I think it's a pretty good send-off that they give her, though. Now, of course, Ann Winters knew the moment she got hired that Charlie Burke was a 1-season deal. But I still have, as far as the Orville universe goes, the idea of like, oh, she could have been picked up last minute right before she exploded by Priya, Charlize Theron. She could have been picked up maybe the 29th century who would definitely have time travel again, thanks to the Arnov device now being used by the Orville for the purpose of time travel. The 29th century might have use for someone that can work in the fourth dimension, has a fourth dimension minded skill set. Now, some people said, oh, that might cheapen her death. I absolutely think it would, except if you write it to not cheapen her death. Maybe it's more worth it. They'd be able to write it so that her being alive and they not knowing it and find out that she is alive, they could. I trust the Orville more than any other writing team to make it actually worth it and mean even more than her death. But of course, they'd have to sit down and do it. All right, you guys ready to start this off? All right, don't mess with me, Hulu. Don't mess with the stream. We got the upstream and the downstream. Don't be messing with us. All right, you guys, you all ready? You got it queued up at home? All right, I got it queued up right now. So we're all going to press play in 3, 2, 1. Press play now. I did it. I did it. Here it comes. I can hear it in my headphones. And hopefully you can hear it at home. Oh, we return to Krill. Krill was such an amazing planet that they created. It's kind of like a albino crocodile Vegas. Got all this stuff going on. It makes sense, of course, that in a planet of darkness, everything would be lit up with colors. And Talea, of course, is now the Chancellor. I think she's irredeemable. Everything that happened in this episode, I find her completely irredeemable. Well, I kind of found her mostly irredeemable in Gently Falling Rain, episode 4 of the season. But this solidifies it for me. Oh, very interesting to see how they sync up. Now, of course, I had to upgrade my Hulu package to no ads for these live streams because I don't want a commercial to pop up and mess everything up. And as you can see, we got the subtitles now available for those that don't want to click play on their end or want to, get things synced up a little bit better. Yeah, I love Talia. I love the character. I love the with season 2 where it's like, oh, we might be able to reach her. I don't know if we can ever reach her now. She's gone too far. Matthew says that he's watching with his cat, Alara. Very nice. My cat's name is Nikola, like Nikola Tesla. Kroom says, Mirror Universe. Charlie is really kind and nice to Isaac. Yeah, as a joke, we were joking around. Ann Winters, when I was interviewing her, we were talking about the death of the character, and we were kind of joking around. She's like, yeah, maybe Charlie has a twin sister who's really nice. And that's what she said, and we were having a laugh about it. But yeah, if they ended up bringing her back, I trust the Orville writing crew to make it worth it, so that her sacrifice is not wasted. Yeah, I'm on Hulu, but yeah, wherever you have the Orville to watch. And it's on the screen so you can kind of sync it up at home a little bit. Arkmesh says, I think she's redeemable, but it'll be through her death while saving her kid and telling Ed to build a better future. That's more like it. I'd forgive her if she did that. I'd forgive her if she would just die. All right, Andrew says, I started it on Disney Plus and it moves slowly. Oh, weird. You would think it would just move exactly the same, right? John Smith, how you doing, John? For the first time ever in a watch party. In general, nothing wrong with yours. I actually sync up perfectly. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I even figure if we all were using Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever, that the internet starts things up at different times. You know, might load faster on someone's and start. Someone else might delay for a couple seconds and then start. You were genuinely scared for Planet Saleya. Yeah, I never expected this season that the Union would actually develop a device that can kick Kalon ass and put them in their place and have them begging for mercy, basically, in their Kalon way. But they did it, damn it. There was no cues in the previous episodes of the season. One thing I love about episodic, the characters are serialized, but the events and the adventures that happen are all episodic. So you can really watch any episode of New Horizons or any of the seasons really in any order you want, because each episode, except for Identity, you kind of want to watch that in order, but it's just 2 episodes. It's all gonna be okay. You're gonna understand what's going on, because each adventure is gonna be a new adventure. It's not trailing off from some previous episode. Maybe the Caliban took Charlie. Maybe Priya is working with the Caliban. Maybe Priya is stuck. This was a tough one because I already have an out for that. Maybe she's stuck and she needs someone that can help her get back to her own time or something like that. But of course, she can just do what John did in Twice in a Lifetime and just get rid of the buffers or whatever for when you go to quantum, and then you'll be able to travel to the future. So that doesn't quite make sense unless she just didn't figure that out. But you think they would be able to figure that out. This whole scene, totally unexpected. Even with the preview that came out the week before, the teaser trailer for the episode, we could see all the ships kind of together, but you couldn't really tell what it was. You're like, what is that? Well, we find out what it is right here. But yeah, maybe the Caliban took her. We were supposed to get the Caliban in this season in what was originally supposed to be episode 9, but they weren't able to make the episode, so now Domino is episode 9. Sympathy for the Devil. That's the one that Seth MacFarlane wrote a book for it, an audio book for it, or just a regular novella for it. You can get it either way. I have the link in the description if you want to check it out. Highly recommend the Audible version of the episode because it's read by Bruce Boxleitner from Babylon 5 and from the Orville, plays the president of the Union. My absolute favorite Orville story was... My favorite episode of the Orville was not filmed, was not made into an episode because COVID and travel got in the way when they were trying to film this. They had it all set up to film like in like Eastern Europe, maybe Ukraine, Germany, something like that. But they weren't allowed to travel, and they're like, if we can't film it there, it's going to look cheesy. So we're just going to save it for a hopefully 4th season. So Seth has already said he wants to film it if they get that 4th season. Del Murphy, let me give you guys a timestamp. 1 hour. No, I'm sorry. Wrong side. We are at 7 minutes and 38 seconds. We were successful. This changes the balance of power. So much so, the Orville's like, we're going to go straight up to Kalon all by ourselves, no backup, and kick some booty. And so they do. That's how powerful this weapon is. The weapon, of course, is designed by Isaac, because he's got his Kalon knowledge, and Charlie, because she's got that 4th dimension ability. No, I didn't see the live stream with Maria and Jim Mahoney. I knew about it. I shared it, but no, I wasn't able to make it. But I love Brosk. I did put out a little Brosk. I voiced Brosk in a short that I put out a couple days ago. Mark Lawrence says, I guess Seth doesn't want to use the little Europe set at Universal Studios. No, it wouldn't work because they needed to go outside. They needed some outdoor stuff, and they wanted to do the story justice because it is a great story. Like I said, my favorite Orville episode is Sympathy for the Devil, which is not even an episode yet. I feel we're going to get it, though. And it'll be, no doubt, an Emmy Award-winning episode. Yeah, kicking Kalon ass. I was so disappointed. I understood Admiral Green's point of view coming up here in just a second. Totally understand it, but I am so disappointed. But yeah, I get exactly where he's coming from. Still thought I'd bought the wrong audiobook, Kroom says. Yes, when you listen to the Orville Sympathy for the Devil, for the first hour and a half, you forget it has anything to do with the Orville universe. And then all of a sudden, boom, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, this is the Orville. And I don't want to ruin it for those that haven't heard it yet. It's like a 3-hour story, start to finish. I listened to the first half one day, and then the next day I listened to the second half. Oh, man. Well, actually, I think I paused it once Ed and Kelly showed up. And then I paused it and finished it out the next day. So good. Such a good philosophical argument, too, with the episode. Argument says, I would like Sympathy for the Devil to maybe be an extra length special that comes out to tide us over until a new full season. I would love that too. I think that would be great, especially since they can't use they can't use the studio or the sets. I mean, they could, but they don't need any of that stuff. This episode requires a whole new place. It requires a whole new country to film in, so they can actually get that done. They wouldn't even need any of the crew until the second half of it. So they can get a lot of the work done without even requiring any of the cast and crew to really be there. I mean, I'm sure John Cassar would be there and Seth would be there to direct it. Thank you so much, Brian Dawkins, for helping to support the channel and help support these live streams. They should have made Charlie a lieutenant for this. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, they wouldn't show any of it because they wanted to have a heartbreaking scene, but they have her funeral. A lot of times in military type stuff, not that this is a true military, this is a combination of, it's like a societal military, I guess. They would usually, like even at your funeral, they would give you awards and rank you up and all that stuff. But they wanted to make it more personal and human, so they didn't show any of that part, I guess. But I would make her the savior. Maybe the Kalon start worshiping Charlie. She saved the Kalon, and she made them think. She gave them some food for thought, helping them understand something they'd never even considered before. John Smith says, well, on streaming length, it doesn't matter. This very episode we're watched is an hour. Yeah, this is almost an hour and a half long episode. One of the other reasons Seth MacFarlane really wanted to move the streaming is he did not want the primetime strict run times anymore. He's like, we got so much more story to tell. We got so much stuff to show on the screen to really drive home the story that we're trying to tell. And then, of course, if you're on primetime, they're like, no, keep it 44 minutes, keep it 45 minutes. And he just got so tired of that. That was one of the other big reasons he wanted to move to streaming. But there are other reasons too. In Charlie we trust. Charlie really ended up winning a lot of the fandom over. I mean, everyone was hating her for many episodes. But after this episode, all of a sudden you see a lot of people saying, oh, we want Charlie back. I love the character. I didn't like the drama of the first half, her hating Kalon so bad, even though it's understandable. But the whole point of her character was to show that a lot of humanity hates the Kalon now because of the big two-parter. The Identity Saga, as I call it. All right, Cat Lover, thanks for stopping by. And Cat Lover, we trust as well. Yeah, all these episodes would have to be two-parters on Fox. Yeah. There was a couple that I think... Well, actually, no. Not a single one of the episodes in New Horizons would fit in a primetime. They wouldn't fit on Fox. Every one of them were over an hour. Every episode is a minimum of 1 hour. No commercials. Full story the whole time. I think one time one of the episodes was 61 minutes. Where and when will we be able to see the new Ted? The new Ted series is a few months off. They haven't announced a premiere date yet. I'm sure it'll be coming up soon, but it will be on Peacock, at least in the States. And wherever NBC stuff is shown in other parts of the world, that's where it will be. Because Ted is actually a worldwide hit. They made money. The first two films made money all over the world. And it was very popular all over the world. And so yeah, it's a Peacock original, which is, for the last couple of years now, Seth MacFarlane has worked for NBC and Peacock. He has a huge multi-deal. Him and his company Fuzzy Doors had, for the last couple of years, a huge contract with NBC. He moved from Fox to NBC. But part of his contract with NBC is that he's still allowed to do some other things, like, because, he still does voice work for Family Guy and American Dad and all that stuff. So they made sure that wouldn't be interfered with at all with his contract. And he just signed with a new management company. He got rid of his old management company, and just a couple days ago signed with a new management company. So we'll see what that even means. I have no idea what any of that stuff means, what the main goal was with any of that, until you see some stuff come out. I'm hoping it has some meaning for the Orville. I fast forwarded. What time is everyone? All right, I have, for this episode right now, we are at 16 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, Peacock is the go-to service for Universal, who distributed the Ted movies. Maybe that's another reason they're going with Ted. They're like, hey, Ted did so well for us. Let's do a show with it as well, since you're with us now, Seth MacFarlane. I can't wait to see the writing style, because Seth has grown as a human being over the last 20 years of creating things. The Orville is so much different tonally than the previous stuff he's worked on. I'm very interested to see how that carries over into his new writing with Ted. I think Ted's going to be I'm sure it'll still have a lot of the raunchy humor, but I think it's going to probably have more heartfelt storylines attached to it. You're drinking watermelon Mountain Dew? So good. Watermelon, you guys. Watermelon. I don't have watermelon, but in this I had some bubbly water, lime juice, and tropical flavored Mio. A squirt of that. Deloish. I highly recommend getting bubbly water, whatever flavor, whatever, and put that lime juice in there. It is crazy good. Andrew, you're good at time now? No, I'm at a good time now. I'm good at time now. I'm pretty good. My next thing I'm going to work on is calendars. I want to get good at calendars. Time. Time is so silly. Because in my mind, I just think the only thing that ever exists is the present. And now it's gone. And now we got a new present. All within that one sentence. Is Ted based on the movie character Ted? I believe it should be. Okay, in Ted, I'll be putting videos out about this as we get closer to the premiere. Because I want to be the #1 source for Ted as well. I want to be the #1 source for everything that's Orville adjacent. Anything the characters, the writers, whatever they work on, I want to cover that, as well as more Orville. But yeah, I'm assuming that it's... Well, I'm not even assuming. I know that the Ted series is supposed to take place in the 90s, which adds a whole level of fun there. As we know, if you've seen the movies, a little boy wishes that his teddy bear is real. That wish comes true. And then they grow up together, and we catch up to them when they're adults. I think this series is going to be the in-between time, when they're still coming of age, they're teenagers, whatever year, the 1990s they end up going with. That's what the new series is going to be, the growing up side. So it's kind of like the Wonder Years, but with Ted the teddy bear. But I'm sure it's the same exact Ted. Time is an illusion. That's how I consider time. That's how I look at it. What's up, Orville Nation? Welcome to the Orville Watch Party on Egotastic FunTime. Got to figure out what we're going to watch next week. Right now we got a lot of Orville to watch, but every once in a while we might throw in some other things. If this setup that I've created works with YouTube and copyright laws and all that stuff, we can start watching some other things. We might be watching some Last of Us pretty soon. You don't know. I don't know. But it'll be something. Mark Lawrence, thank you so much. And it's gone. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Mark Lawrence. And it's gone. Where'd all my money go, guy? Oh, The Last of Us from Friday was great. Oh, man, it was the Henry and Sam storyline. In the game, it's all about the sewer tunnels, right? I mean, what happens in the episode is pretty much exactly the same, but we kind of just went through... The tunnels were safe. In the game, it was the sewer tunnels. Kind of the same thing in the episode. But we got through that right away just so we could get to the sniper scene. As soon as they got to that neighborhood on the other side of the tunnels and I saw the house at the end of the street, I knew exactly. I go, that's the sniper house. And lo and behold, they start getting sniper shots thrown at them. Thank you again, Brian Dawkins. On Kalon Prime, it is Bring Your Own. That's right. I love this. This is all part of giving a nice farewell to the character of Charlie. Still did not expect her to die. Before season 3 came out, I kind of predicted someone in the cast is going to die. I was either going with Bortus or Kelly, because we didn't know anything about Charlie yet. But it was Charlie. So I was kind of right in that someone was going to die this season. Had no idea it was going to be Charlie. I love it. I love it. And one thing that's great about Charlie is I'm sure she can crack open a walnut. Unlike some people that I know who could have just eaten the whole walnut shell and all. I don't know why they didn't do that. It wouldn't be as funny. Yeah, and they do sound really nice. I never looked into the song though. I'm getting serious Simon and Garfunkel vibes, but I didn't know that song. I didn't recognize it, and I know a lot of Simon and Garfunkel songs. Arkmay says, I thought Charlie was going through a much darker story. Glad she didn't, but sad she's gone. Yeah, I would have loved to have... I love the dynamic she had. I mean, I'm sure if they kept her, it would still be a lot of fun banter between her and Isaac. Of course, last week's episode, Isaac is trying his best to connect with Charlie. Charlie's not having it. Oh, everybody's drinking. So that's not a Simon and Garfunkel. Yeah, I didn't recognize it. I wonder what song it is. I've never looked into it, and I probably should because I'm sure it has meaning. The lyrics, I'm sure, probably have meaning. Damn it, Bortus. I told you, you are doing it wrong. You have not yet penetrated the shell. Flowers Never Been with the Rainfall song by Oh, Simon and Garfunkel. Boom. Oh, that song was Simon and Garfunkel, not that don't. Okay, I got you. Archmage retracted the don't. So I was right again. Yeah, Scott Grimes has a great voice. He is a musician. He has many albums out, available for sale or for listen on probably Spotify or something like that. He is a known musician. It was Simon and Garfunkel. It's funny. It's kind of cool. I know a lot of Simon and Garfunkel songs. It's cool that they picked one that I've never heard before. Flowers never bend. Come get you a Big Dipper. Could you imagine? One thing I do wonder about that effect that Isaac just did. Does it work for people that are standing in different locations and not the exact point of view where he's standing? Interesting overlaps between Family Guy writing and the Orville, I think. Perhaps a bit nerdy, but worth Egotastic special. I'll have to go back and watch a lot of Family Guy, huh? If you really want to see some sci-fi overlap with the Orville writing, watch Enterprise. Enterprise has a lot of overlap with the themes and the stories being told. I rewatched Enterprise a few years ago, and I kept saying, oh my God, the Orville did that. Oh my God, the Orville did that. Of course, Enterprise did it first, but a lot of the writers from Enterprise wrote episodes of the Orville. Seth worked on Enterprise. He played Ensign River on 2 episodes, season 3 episode and a season 4 episode. It depends if the rain. Oh, the rain would. You're talking about the Big Dipper. Water would change the view of stuff, wouldn't it? Never. Yeah, this is Charlie saying, you know what? F these dudes still. I want to blow them up for what they did. They hurt my friend Amanda, and she was really cool. I liked her. And these stupid toasters came and Cyloned them up right in the faces, and I don't like that. And you can't really, someone that's been through that, what she's been through and other people have been through, that's not the type of situation where you can say, oh, just get over it. That's not quite something you can just get over. Under a 9tober9 says, under a tropical storm, flowers do bend. Even the palm trees bend. I do know that about palm trees. I grew up with palm trees. I'm a Southern California boy. We had palm trees everywhere. We just very rarely had any weather that would do anything. We have the lamest weather ever. But every once in a while you get some weather. And those palm trees would be swaying. Let's see here. Let me press some stuff. Yeah, damn toasters. Dick toasters. I mean, we can't write it, but I can say it. The Ferengi have 178 different words for rain. Maybe one of those words is toasters. Good chance toaster is a word for rain in Ferengi. Curtis Tay says, I remember the Enterprise rewatch. Fun times of the egotastic kind. Man, you know what? Maybe we'll do some Enterprise select episodes. I need to find one that overlaps theme-wise with an Orville episode so that we can talk about how they overlap. Yes, Scott Grimes has many CDs. He has CDs, but also you can probably listen for free online as well. But if you like the support, buying the CDs is the way to do it. He even plays live shows. He has his current band. He has an all-star, like literally famous actors band. It's called the action heroes. No, because all of them have action figures. I think they might be called the action figures. Every one of them, every actor has an action figure for sale from whatever previous shows they've been on. I know the main agent dude from Heroes is in the band, I think. No, the other guy from Heroes. I don't know, maybe everyone's from Heroes. Everyone in the band is an actor who has been in something where they got their own action hero, so that's what they call the band. And 666 words for profit. Yeah, they got a lot of words for profit, those Ferengi. My ex-girlfriend, she was Persian, and of course she spoke Farsi. She said, and she was a Star Trek fan, and she said she always liked the Ferengi because in her language, Ferengi means foreigner. So the Ferengis are just foreigners, which they are, because they're aliens. All right, Cat Lover's back. Hello, Cat Lover. Brian Dawkins, thank you so much for your support. Call the cops. We have been robbed. All right, you guys, call the cops. Send them to Brian Dawkins. Andrew says, I like supporting musicians. I buy a CD. Every once in a while, I'll buy a CD specifically for supporting a band, because musicians make no money anymore. Nothing. They'll make half a penny for every million streams with these streaming services. So that's why all these bands are going out on tour. The only way to make money anymore is with a tour. DVDs used to have features like director commentary. Any commentary, any streaming do similar? I have no idea. Yeah, not commentary, not like kind of what we're doing here, watching a thing and talking about it. But the streaming does have extra features. Usually in whatever you're watching, you pan down, they'll say more episodes, they'll say more like this. They'll also say things like extras. You go to the extras, and if they have extra videos out, like behind the scenes, whatever, the Orville does. You go on Hulu, I don't know if Disney has it, but Hulu has it. You go to the Orville, every single episode has a inside the episode. Same thing with like The Last of Us. They have an inside the episode, special interviews, all that stuff. So yeah, a lot of shows do have extra stuff going on the streaming services. Emmanuel Shepard, thank you so much for that super chat, super sticker. I love it. Little doggy super sticker says thank you, but in dog. I speak dog, so I know I'm able to translate it. Thank you so much for that. Love those stickers, everybody. Cat Lover. Well, hello there, JP. What I missed? You missed Talia being a jerk, but luckily you came right back when she's being a jerk again. So disappointed in you, Ted Danson. So disappointed. I understand what you're doing, but man, trust in the Orville a little bit. HBOmax and Disney Plus. It's been a long time since I've looked for the extras on Disney Plus, but back when I was looking at the Orville extras on Disney Plus, all they had was the season 3 or New Horizons trailer. But then you go over to Hulu, man, they got inside the episodes and they have extras. Both of them have cool stuff on them. Now, of course, I put out all that stuff for promotion on this channel. So if you just type in Inside the Orville, I'll have an Inside the Orville for every single episode and then some available. And that was all. The Orville was very nice to me and, wanted me to help promote as much as possible. So I had access to all that stuff, thank goodness. John Smith says, yeah, it's not like Charlie is saying, I just don't like any life form without a pulse. They killed someone she cared about. Probably killed a lot of people she cared about. But also, Ed says it in maybe this episode. He says, look, we've all lost people. Oh, actually, I think he said that in Electric Sheep. We have all lost people from that attack. You're not the only one. But, some people are dealing better than others, I guess, which makes total sense. I'm just so glad they gave her an arc where she was able to start to change. She was able to start seeing the situation from a different point of view, multiple point of views, really. Yeah, you gotta have faith in the Orville. 'Cause I've got faith of the Orville. My flowers won't be bended or broken. Yeah, Michael is here from the good place. Or Becker. Wasn't he on a show called Becker? Cheers, of course. Curb Your Enthusiasm. I saw Ted Danson once at a Starbucks in Brentwood. I was just going to my regular Starbucks. And you never know who you're going to see at that particular Starbucks. So, I get my coffee. I'm walking through the lobby to go sit outside. And boom, there's Ted Danson. And it was the very first time I saw Ted Danson with a full head of white hair. I don't think he did any project yet where he had a full head of white hair. They probably still used to dye it back in the day. But I saw him with a full head of white hair. And I was like, oh, man. And then the next project I saw him on, he had a full head of white hair. Okay, we need a JP and Scott Grimes duet. I'd be up for it. He'd be a lot better, though. He'd be the Simon to my Garfunkel, even though Garfunkel was pretty great. I'm no Garfunkel. Well, I can sing a little bit, but I'm no Garfunkel. I can't have a Janet from The Good Place. I would love a Janet from The Good Place because she had awesome powers and was a good friend. Oh, Becker also had Jadzia Dax from Deep Space Nine. I've always was aware of Becker. I don't think I ever watched a single episode of it. Also, Ted Danson was the lead in one of the CSI shows, right? I never watched that either. Ted Danson starred in a CSI. Maybe he took over for What's His Nuts on New York. And then, of course, Scott Bakula was the lead of... Was he CSI New Orleans? I don't think I ever watched his either. I used to love CSI back in the day. I loved CSI Vegas, the original, and CSI Miami or wherever that was. I watched a few episodes of New York when that came out. Didn't care for it so much. I think it was because of the doctor character. She's just too loving to the dead people. I was like, I don't like whatever they're doing with this, and so I stopped watching it. But they've had a bunch of them, haven't they? But back in the day, they even used to have CSI video games. I loved them, man. Love solving them crimes. Oh, Ted Danson took over for the Vegas one, the original. Oh, I like that. How did I miss that? I never went back. Didn't they do some new original CSI stuff they brought it back or something? I don't know. I've lost track of all primetime television years ago when I cut the cord and went strictly to streaming, like back in 2009 or 2010. Yeah, back then it was on... I was actually tempted to watch the New Orleans one in CIS. It's all the same to me. But I was tempted to watch that show just because of Scott Bakula. Scott Bakula is one of those actors where I'm like, I might check out whatever he's in, no matter what. Yeah, CSI and NCIS mean different things. Isn't NCIS more of a military thing? I don't know. They got the same jobs, don't they? Basically, it's like someone gets murdered and then they collect evidence and then they say enhance, and then the computer enhances it and then they know exactly what happened. This whole Kalon thing, man. at this point, you still cannot trust the Kalon, but you are forced, enemy mind style, to work together, right? But I felt at the end of this episode, I felt very assured that the Kalon are now trustworthy. I don't think they would do something in a future season where it's like you can't trust the Kalon anymore. Though it would be easy to have a misunderstanding with the Kalon, because they'll, just like with Isaac, they take things too literally. They don't understand the nuances of biological language and communication. CSI Vegas. I love me CSI Vegas. Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Got that military going. I grew up right next to a military base, and they never let me solve any military crimes. I didn't even know there were military crimes. Yes, well, I don't know, Jonathan, but Jonathan says, will there be evil emotional Kalon? Well, as we can see, certain generations of Kalon are able to be reprogrammed with emotions. From this point on, I would love to have known what Tennis, the emotional Kalon that we met a few episodes ago, what he thought of all of this whole alliance thing. We never got his point of view. We never got his reaction, his response. And definitely, I am sure there are going to be some Kalon, just for the sake of curiosity. I'm sure Kalon Primary is going to want to reprogram some of the Kalon for the emotional, to get the emotions, just to see what happens, to see if that is a further evolution of his species. That would be beneficial. And I'm sure if that's the case, just like with people that have different opinions, I'm sure the Kalon will begin changing and start disagreeing on certain things or have different points of views. Unless the Kelly timeline, Kalon suddenly breached dimensional barriers. Ooh, I hope they go into some more dimensional stuff, alt timeline stuff. I love alt timeline. I love that The Last of Us, this first season, is basically an alternate timeline. A timeline that ends in 2003. 2003 would have been a good year to end things, I think. What's up, Synchro505? Hey, long time no see. GTSY, Gitsy. I still remember your jingle from a while back. I pop it into some videos now, you guys. The Egotastic FunTime jingle has been back in my last few videos that I've done. You know, Egotastic FunTime, we're gonna have a great time. Egotastic FunTime, give me all your money. That whole song that I did all those years ago was all just a commentary on YouTube. I was making fun of YouTube, and that was the one thing that everyone liked the most, was that song. Think we'll see the Caliban return? Absolutely. We were supposed to have seen the Caliban in the original episode 9, which they weren't able to film because of COVID. And this was supposed to have been episode 10, but now it's episode 9, Domino. But we were supposed to have seen the Caliban kind of in a flashback scene for the episode Sympathy for the Devil. Available now on Audible, link down below. It has Caliban in it. So they wanted to bring back the Caliban. So we'll definitely see the Caliban next season when we get that renewal. And I don't say if, I say when, because I really feel like we'll be getting a renewal. The Orville will be back. It's not official, but in my heart, I really feel like it will. Just from the stuff that I see online and the way people speak and the words they say, people that are involved with the actual production. All right, go eat. Go eat, cat lover. Don't forget to have a bowl of milk with you. A saucer, I guess is the appropriate way to say that. But yeah, I think we'll definitely get to Caliban. I would definitely, I've said this many times before over the years, I want to see what happened to the Caliban once they were introduced to Earth reality television. Did they dumb down? Are they distracted? Are they hooked on it and they can't really concentrate on anything else? On their super big brain work? Maybe they're fighting with each other because they see that on the reality TV that they're stuck on. They're being influenced. Brian Dawkins, thank you again for your support and helping us keeping to do these watch parties every week. And then the murdering started. Damn murder. Oh, that looks so good. They quantum into the coordinates. Boom, they're there at the planet. Chaos. So many ships. Just so many ships going boom. Boom, boom, boom. Wonder if Caliban had a Jerry Springer. Yeah, what if the Caliban have now taken to trying to recreate their own version of reality television? What if there's now Caliban reality television, reality productions, where you see Caliban on the screen? I love that idea. Very good idea. I want to see that now. That would be the humor in the episode. And will the Caliban teleportation technology be developed by the Union? That I would love to see as well, though I do very much appreciate that the Orville can't just beam out of a situation. They have to figure out a way out. Way more interesting storytelling wise. But of course the Caliban has teleportation technology. Priya had teleportation technology. Ed even commented on it. And then the third teleportation technology was the multiphasic, right? Planet from season 1 finale. We got reintroduced to those people in season 3 in New Horizons on episode 3. Yeah, episode 3. Mortality Paradox. We get reintroduced to those people, evolved much further, thousands, maybe millions of years in the future. If you had to choose one side character promoted to series regular, who would it be? Oh, Dan. I'd get Dan on that bridge, just like that. The Real Housewives of Caliban. I would love to go to Caliban and have them watch their society, their culture, try to recreate reality television. Because maybe they, even though I'm sure there's a kabillion hours of it for them to watch from the archives, I can see them running out of stuff to watch and start trying to recreate their own. And I'm sure if they did that episode, that situation, they would have the Real Housewives of Caliban. Probably doing movies, Caliban Wilder. It's a Caliban. But yeah, I love that idea. Big brawls break out on the show, making headlines all across Caliban. They'll have a Big Brother series. Maybe they'll have a series called Love is Dumb. This whole battle scene is just nuts. I never expected to see a full-on battle in the atmosphere of a planet. And I was talking to Brandon Fay. I put out a video of it for those of you who saw it. We're talking all about this scene, all about the what did they call them? The evacs, whatever allows them to, you know, kind of be like little jet planes flying around. So they have a button you press right before you hit the ground. You got to press this button, and it will allow you to land without being squished. Hey, Thomas Landry, how you doing? But, yeah, earlier when this battle started, when you just see all the Union ships coming around the bend, and the crew are like, oh, damn. Yeah, Halo jump. They call it something, though, as far as the device that allows them to land just like that. Brandon felt the landing was still a little too fast. It would still hurt them some way, somehow. But they went with it, and it worked visually. Yes, isn't there one scene where Gordon is wearing the visor they decided to get rid of? Yeah, the first episode of the season, Electric Sheep, when they first introduced the Pterodon. Also, Brandon created the Pterodons that John and Gordon and everybody are flying around in the atmosphere, going pew pew on each other, trying to get a nice explosion in someone's face. But yeah, there was they originally had visors for pilots of the Pterodon that were kind of probably the color of whatever rank you were. So Gordon wears orange, so he had a orange visor. But with the visor, the helmet that goes over the visor, and the glass window of the cockpit, they said they wouldn't be able to really see the actors' faces, so they got rid of the visors. But in Electric Sheep, once Gordon lands the Pterodon onto the shuttle bay for the first time, when he's taking off his gear and taking off his helmet, you can see the visor. But technically, there are no visors. Egress pack. I think they said it's something like that. That's the closest, if not exactly what it is. Archmage. Glad you're doing good, Thomas. SEAL Team 6 is on mission. Look at these jerks in their damn tunnels. This set, I believe, was built in the parking lot of Fox. An indoor parking lot, not the outdoor parking lot. I don't think they have an outdoor parking lot. Yeah, the egress pack. That sounds exactly right. I don't know what the spelling is of that of egress pack, but egress pack. In case you need to get some egression. Talia, you have been lost to us, Talia. I am so sorry. But yeah, we need to get Ed's daughter back. That's an open storyline that we need more seasons in order to play out. Ed wants his daughter. He wants to have a relationship. She's just held up in a crappy Krill apartment all damn day. She needs a true. Her mother doesn't even come and visit her. She watches her on cameras. That little baby girl needs her family. Damn it. Oh, I wonder if Ed's daughter is susceptible to being burned up by the sun, by ultraviolet rays, like the regular krill are. It does kind of look like a parking garage now that you say that. Well, you know, they built all the tunnels. That's just part of the show. But I think they laid them all out in the parking lot. But it does kind of look like a parking garage, all the concrete, right? Have you ever thought about doing a review for each episode of the Orville? Oh, of course. I just don't think people would watch it. Every time I make something, I have to consider, are people going to watch this? Some people will. It's like what I prefer to do with the episodes is put a lot more behind the scenes stuff that of course I didn't have access to at the time when reviewing the episodes when they first came out or talking about them. Now there's a lot more of that. I've put a lot of it out though, but I mean I could put it into a new review just talking about the behind the scenes. We got so much more information about these episodes now. So yeah, I have thought about that. The first video I want to do though that I'm working on now is a what happened to the Orville is what I think I'm going to title the video, and go over kind of season 1, season 2 real quick, season 3 real quick, and then talk about you know, that it hasn't been renewed yet and what might be holding it up and making us wait. But yeah, what happened to the Orville? But also, you know, I could talk for all 3 seasons, talk about audience response, critics response, one season at a time, and put them all together in a nice tight little package, 5-8 minutes. I try to never go over 8 minutes in a video. Sometimes you can't help it. Re-reviews would be cool with the added info of how you know things will play out into the show later. Yeah, I can connect stuff. If I did do that, though, I'd probably do it as we got closer to a 4th season premiering. Because also you have to consider, when you do this stuff, the audience interest. Right now, not much audience would be too interested in it, but if a new season was going to be coming out later in the year or during a year, and you do that in the months prior, a lot of people would be interested in that. I know that just from doing this for so many years. But right now I'm in community mode. I like the first quarter of a new year to be community mode. We get together, we do watch parties, we have conversations together, we show up, we have fun, chat about the things we want to chat about. Just kind of building that relationship up, because this is the best community I've ever experienced ever in my life, especially since I started YouTube. But that goes pretty much without saying. But yeah, once community outreach phase of the year winds down, then it's going to be more videos. A lot of even with high interest, videos aren't really watched as much during this time of the year. Pro tip: unless you're able to come up with a video that's evergreen, which means it's always valid, those are usually more informational type videos, like how to sign up for YouTube. That's always going to be or how to get rid of commercials on Netflix. That stuff's always valid. People are always looking for that information. But when you're talking about a show, you got to really try to make it something that people are, for some reason, going to be interested in. But if you just talk about the Orville right now, with it not being, it's not on the air, the only thing people are interested in, as far as like viewing wise, is if it's renewed. And then once we get a renewal announcement or even a cancel announcement, people would be way more interested in watching the whatever videos you come out. It's a fine line to walk being a YouTuber. Lit AF, yo. Yeah, that fight was... What I like about the fight with Talia and Kelly is it's not fast. It takes a while. A real fight would take a little while, wouldn't it? It's not just something quick. It's not like a Mike Tyson punch-out situation. Two people really fighting to kill each other, as long as they're both into it, takes a little while. Jeloja, Jelloja. What's up, Philip Baca? How you doing? Peregrina, you slept with my husband. She did. Not her husband anymore, but I think Kelly is starting to think she would like Ed to be her husband again someday. I don't know. I don't plan on watching sports ball today, but I might be made to watch sports ball today. To watch the Superb Owl. It depends. I'll have to ask my wife once we're done with this stream what the plan is. Because I know her parents and stuff are into the sports ball, so they watch the big games. But I haven't heard anything about an invite to any type of to-do going on surrounding the Superb Owl. What's up, Synchro says, so glad I caught your stream today. I'm going to bookmark your channel to make sure to keep up with you. Thanks, Synchro. I appreciate that. Right now we're doing a lot of get-togethers. Trying to do these watch parties every Sunday for a long while. And we also live stream. I've been live streaming on Thursday mornings, which has been very interesting. I've been very much liking that time slot very much. And then the occasional video. I put out an Orville, well, it's actually a Hulu might be sold type thing because it came out in the news. But I added the how this might affect the Orville, since the Orville is a Hulu original. And then I tried a few Last of Us videos, but that IP, you just can't get into that right now. There's everybody and their mother is making Last of Us videos, and only a handful of them are getting any views. That's a hard nut to crack. And trying to crack that nut makes me feel like a Mocklin. But during the live shows, of course, we talk about all the fun stuff. We talk a lot about Last of Us, or I do. And I've been making sure to watch a bunch of stuff every week so that we have some nerdy things to talk about. For the longest time, especially while working on New Horizons as it was coming out over the summer, I just stopped watching anything else. I'm like, I don't got time to watch about anything else. I'm working on Orville stuff. So now I'm getting back into watching stuff, even more so than I did a few years ago. Trying to watch a couple movies every week, old and new. Been watching some other TV shows. Go Chiefs! And whoever they're playing against, I have no idea. More seasons or movies, I want both. But if I got one, I think a movie would be great. I know that Darth Thor, I know that in the first season of the Orville, the cast and crew were talking about that movies are on the table. They would like to make movies as well. I would love it if actually, that would be a tough one. Sympathy for the Devil, even though it's my favorite Orville story, you couldn't really make a movie about it because nothing, the Orville, the cast that we know and love, they're not even in the episode till the second half. You wouldn't be able to make an Orville movie and not have the Orville show up for over an hour. But for an episode, that would totally work. So yeah, maybe they'll do a movie about getting Ed's daughter back. That'd be great. What's up, VR and AR? John Smith, anything happens with Hulu, it'll just go to Disney Plus global. People just want to be doom and gloom about everything. Yeah, well, also I have the theory that it could possibly go to Peacock if they decide to sell it to Peacock, which they already own. NBC, Comcast, they already own a big chunk of Hulu. Just Disney has the bigger share. And there's benefits to both. But I think when all is said and done, I didn't say this in my video the other day, I think the Orville going to Peacock would be great for Peacock, but I think it's the Orville staying with Disney Plus would be great for the Orville, because of course the Orville has Disney Plus has the much bigger worldwide sci-fi market of viewers, because they got the Marvel, they got the Star Wars, they got all the other junk that whatever they come out with, but they have the Orville, and the Orville is a sci-fi property that they can keep and own and do well with, because while it is still hardcore sci-fi, it's a format of sci-fi that no one else is using. That optimistic, the optimistic future utopian thing. Only the Orville does that. So if they kept the Orville, they'd have all the sci-fi of all the different types. They just have to figure out when to air it when there's not so much Star Wars junk coming out all the damn time. JP, I would not mind being on an email or text list. I put everything out either in the community tab on this channel. You can always go on that, but also you can follow my Twitter. I used to try to do the email thing back in the day, but I just didn't have enough followers on that list, on that email list, to actually spend time, because it takes time to make one of those email list things, like the actual content of what you're sending. But yeah, just hitting the bell sign will keep you apprised of the stuff that I put out. I'm a one-man show, so a lot of the things other people you see doing for promotion, I have a hard time doing because I have to do everything on my own, and that's the way I like doing things, is on my own. But a lot of the other creators that you see, they have the email list, which is a good thing to have, but they have people helping them. And I'm here, Amanda. Boom. And Priya comes and gets her right then. She's alive. Priya got her, you guys. And she's held up on Caliban in a prison cell because Priya is working with the Caliban. I'm making this all up, but that's what I like to do. Write some fan fiction that hopefully becomes just the real deal thing. Cracking that planet. Brandon Fett wanted to crack a planet so bad. And Seth said, all right, go for it. And so we did. And there it is, the cracked ass planet. But yeah, if you just keep apprised of the community page here, anything that's going on that's of any use, I usually put it up right here. Primary just realized the difference with some biologicals. Yeah, Charlie was like, I gotta help. I gotta do this thing, even though my life is at risk. And Kalon Primary is like, the hell you say? That's crazy. I didn't think you humans were like that. So Charlie really helped change the view of how Kalon see biologicals. So we know when things are about to start. YouTube is supposed to be doing that for you guys. Why is YouTube not doing that? When I start a stream or one of these live streams, they usually they're supposed to send out a big old, hey, it's going to happen. And then, of course, I promote stuff on the community tab and on Twitter. I've been promoting this on the community tab. I did that earlier today, but on Twitter, I've been doing it for days. YouTube, they don't always do their job. VR says, I tell it to notify, but it doesn't really. I need a robot to come wake me up and say, new JP thing starting. Yeah, YouTube doesn't always do what they say they do. It sucks. But I've had a lot of people that have clicked the bell and they say, I never got a notification. Well, you're personal friends with Seth MacFarlane now. We're definitely personal acquaintances. Yeah, she made a new Death Star. Kroom got the YouTube email. So they actually email. I don't have the notification bell for it. I've never used it before on a channel. I just know what it's supposed to do, what they say they're supposed to do. So you actually, those of you that get an email, you actually get an email about upcoming stuff. Kevin says, YouTube notified me twice since yesterday. Man, YouTube likes some of you guys. You must be collaborators. She hated you for what you did, and she still gave her life for you, Kalon Primary. You're GD right. You're incorrect. And turn down your darkness level when making toast. You keep burning the toast. YouTube notifications seem to be hit and miss. I believe it. I've heard that over the years. I've heard that. Yeah, Primary just realized there's a difference with some biologicals. Some biologicals are growers and some are showers. What you gonna do? And then even here, doesn't she like use the daughter as like a threat? That's how bad she's become. I'll start setting up JP alert alarms to remind me. You gotta get those Google alerts, I guess. Yeah, get an email saying Egotastic FunTime is live. Man, I wish there would be I wish they could send them a little earlier, I guess. Oh, Lone Puppy says I get the notifications, even the 30-minute warning. I'm just so desensitized to notifications now. I totally get that. Totally get that. Kick-ass Kelly is the best Kelly. She always kicks ass, don't she? See, look at her. Yeah, you're contemptible. Sorry, guys, I'm getting sucked into the episode. You just can't leave her alone. The fulfillment of a divine purpose eclipses all family bonds. Now, if you're Joel from The Last of Us, family's what you go for. Andrew gets notifications sometimes. Seems like YouTube picks and chooses. JP Alert, JP Alert. I should call the next live stream JP Alert. All right, hey again, cat lover. I got the notification yesterday and the 30-minute warning again today. Oh, I'm glad they do warnings. I didn't even know that. That's because it's set. That's because I set up the time and day. So it's nice to know that they do that with some of you. Oh, no problem, VR. I really wanted to add subtitles to the stream, but also cover up the image because you got to keep it copyright friendly, right? But I'm like, I gotta have these subtitles. How am I gonna do it? I had another way I was gonna do it, which required me to record the episode and then record the subtitle version of the episode and then put it all together. So I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have to do that. I can just have two different versions of the same source and just enlarge one so that the subtitles are nice and big underneath. So I went with that route, which is better because now we can watch anything. We can watch anything that's available on the interwebs. If you could start a spin-off of the Orville, what would you call your ship? You'd be captain, of course. Oh, with me? Well, with Pranakasha Productions, we do the Egotastica. But I would probably go with the kitty cat. Because I like cats. So I call it the kitty cat. ECV 666, the kitty cat. And then Peregrina says, I got no notification at all. I just happened to see the suggestion while watching something else. That's nice. YouTube actually brought us together, Peregrina. It's nice when they do that. Oh, look at the ship. Look at all the panels on the ship, you guys. If you go back, watch season 2, season 1, it looks great, but it doesn't look like this. VRAR says, meow, I have 3 cats. I like to handle just one cat at a time so I can give it all the attention, but anytime cat videos come up or whatever, or you know, a nature documentary with jungle cats, I love watching the cats. I love the way they move, the shoulders, the way they behave. Thanks, Peregrine. Thank you for subscribing. Always appreciate your guys' support. Because Egotastic FunTime is just a grand experiment. Two cats. I wouldn't mind having another cat, but I do have a really great dog. Jessica and I. It was her dog, now it's our dog. We used to have a big old Flemish rabbit, which is a gigantic rabbit. That was kind of fun sometimes. Other times it was like, get the hell out of here, rabbit, and don't bite me. But she had a cool personality too. You just got the notification. Don't forget to tune in. And this, if you read this speech, it's not much. But you listen to this speech, it's amazing. This dedication to Charlie. The whole pancake thing. Just really breaking down just a small, superhuman thing about her. Yeah. I'd love it if in later season 4 that either Priya or the Caliban or someone steal Isaac, because they need Isaac's, maybe his understanding of time travel with the Arnov device. And then he gets there, gets put in a cell or whatever, and he looks over, and Charlie is there. She's been captive the whole time. Yeah, this was just a great moment they added. They added so many great moments in the New Horizons season because they had the time to really take the moments that they wanted to take, that they did not have the luxury of doing when they were on primetime. John Smith says, I literally bought pancakes as my breakfast food for the next week after this first dropped. Pancakes. I don't eat breakfast anymore, but I loved a breakfast sandwich back when I had breakfast. Get you the egg, the sausage, the biscuit, the cheese, and that's it. What else do you need? Goodbye, Charlie. Goodbye, Ann Winters. Maybe we'll see you again. Maybe we have flashbacks. This season had some flashbacks in it. Maybe we can have a Charlie flashback. Rip Charlie. Here's to you, Charlie. Here's a big glass of bourbon. Because you're from Texas. I would love to see Charlie again. I wonder how they would do it. I mean, I have my ideas that I've been talking about. Where Priya took her, then you get Priya back because they alluded to seeing her again someday. Now, of course, in season 1, they erased time travel. They erased that. They broke down that wormhole, eradicated that. So now, in Priya's time, she would have grown up differently in a time without time travel, without a way to get back. But then the Arnov device started being developed by Isaac and John. And that means time travel does exist now again. And so that Priya did grow up in a world with time travel. So I wonder how that changed her time. Maybe she's not a time thief stealing ships or whatever, artifacts from time. Hold on, you guys. Let me break this down. Let me turn this off. And we're back. We are back. So I would love to see how they might try to bring her back. I think they would be able to write something that made it so that her returning is important, but does not degrade the effect that her death had in New Horizons. In Newer Horizons. Next week, the finale? Maybe. I'm going out of order. I'm just doing random episodes. We might say the finale. Maybe we'll just pick one of those episodes that people haven't watched over and over again as much as the other episodes. For instance, the second episode... Oh gosh, what's that episode called? The little spider monkey people. I know it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Someone will write it in. Maybe we'll watch that because people haven't watched that one over and over again compared to some of the other episodes like Gently Falling Rain or A Tale of Two Topas. Midnight Blue is a really good one. But yeah, I like doing these out of order. But maybe we'll also do the finale. So we can maybe talk about our, even though we already do that anyway, talk about our theories for a season 4 or the possibilities of a season 4. I think season 4 is coming our way. It's just they got to get all the business stuff out. Disney's trying to figure out what to do with Hulu. They're probably trying to figure out what to do with science fiction because Disney is big on the science fantasy, other types of science fiction. I think Bob Iger would want a positive science fiction show, even more than the other stuff that's not always so positive. It's more dystopian, a lot of stuff. Star Wars is always pretty dystopian, not quite hardcore dystopian, but it's always there. It's not really there to be super positive, but the Orville is. I think Bob Iger would like that more than the other stuff because he's still very much on the Disney family-friendly side of things, even though Disney has moved away from that. Disney Plus has a lot of very adult content on it. Season 1, Episode 2, Command Performance. That's the big return from Season 1. At that point, we just had the pilot where people are still like, the show's kind of interesting. I wonder where it's going to go. And then by Episode 2, once we saw the positivity and the crew fighting to save Ed and Kelly from the Caliban and work together and be happy to finally get the approval to go and do it. I think a lot of people made up their decision right then and there that, hey, this is a show I think I'm going to like. I know that was my experience with it. Yeah, we haven't done very many watch parties on actual YouTube. We used to do a bunch over on Twitch. I don't like Twitch anymore. It's horrible for discovery. It's their business practices I don't like so much. Also, why bring people from YouTube over to Twitch when we could just do it on YouTube? Everybody's on YouTube. The whole Egotastic viewership, subscribers are right here. That's where they started. So why send them over somewhere else when we could do it right here? This, I think, was only the second real watch party for this channel. So next week will be the third watch party for the channel. Orville is not for children. Depends on the parent, depends on the child, I guess. I'd be totally fine with my kids watching the Orville, but some parents would not, understandably so. There's some adult language now. There's always adult situations. But they're able to show an alien booty a little bit more than they were before, even though they showed Bortus's booty in episode 2, season 1. But yeah, it just depends on the parent, I guess. I think despite the adult situations, I think for me, the Orville, the storylines and the things coming up would be very positive for kids growing up. As long as you're there to explain. Have that parental guidance suggested. Animated egotastic emojis. That would be great. I don't even know if YouTube allows that. But they might. I just have to figure out how to do animated emojis. The hell is going on with my replies here? Words are deleted, but emojis go through. Oh, that's weird, Minken. That's going to be some YouTube situation. We're going to have to all contact YouTube. Customer support. Cat Lover says, not for kids. John Smith, it's not targeted at children, but it's not like showing your kid Alien or something. No, that's true. Ed on now TV. Ed is on TV right now. Oh, The Last of Us. The latest episode of The Last of Us was so good. Something I never even thought about, but of course would absolutely be true for that universe. Young clicker. They had a clicker of a different age. Usually we're seeing the adults. I remember in one of the first zombies that we were introduced to in The Walking Dead all those years ago was a little girl zombie that Rick had to deal with. The penis jokes. Oh, I don't mind penis jokes. Penises are a joke inherently. But yeah, I don't mind that for my kids as long as I'm there to answer any questions or give the guidance. Not little kids, of course, but 8, 10, preteen. Shouldn't be a problem for me. But also a lot of stuff I'd allow my young kid to watch because they would just go right over their head. They wouldn't even notice it. But you're the parents. It's up to you to decide. You might want to skip Primal Urges if you're watching with the kids. Yeah, that might be a little much. The fact that it's alien, people in giant suits. They're just they're wearing clothes even though it doesn't look like it. But yeah, that one's skippable for the kids. But I think there's a lot of good ones in there that the kids would learn very important lessons from. Blue alien ejaculating scene in pilot may be a little much for kids. Not for me, in my view, because it's not what's really happening in the human world, it's alien world. Let's say, yeah, he's sweating. He was working hard, he's sweating. Andrew, did you get that warning? What warning? I don't know. You're talking to me? I don't know. I didn't get any warnings. Oh, well, actually, I don't even have that proper screen up to receive a warning. Let me look. Let's see here. No warnings on my special viewing screen. I forgot all about the viewing screen because I was just using my OBS. Yeah, he's just sweating. He's working really hard. And you get sweaty. Cat Lover, hey JP, what videos do you like to do next? My next one that I'm wanting to work on, I've been doing the outline for it, is it's going to take a lot of editing, but oh well. Is what happened to the Orville is what I want to call it, because people are interested. What happened to the Orville? We'll talk about. We'll go over season 1 a little bit, season 2, audience response type of stuff, season 3, the changes from season 3, and then why hasn't it been renewed? It'll go into that. But I won't have my face in it. It'll be all edited with stuff from the Orville on it. No JP Beard in that episode. Del Murph, I have no HBO. I just see reviews from YouTube about the show. Yeah, The Last of Us, of course, that's an HBO thing. Of course, the Orville is a Hulu / Disney Plus thing. So there's always going to be a portion of the audience for whatever show from these streaming services that just doesn't have access to the show, to whatever show we're talking about. It's a tough line to walk. Answering questions about Bortus's Love Cove. Yeah, usually when it's alien stuff, I just don't it doesn't bother me. If I had to explain 2 human-looking people doing some human stuff, that would probably be like, you're not ready for that. We're gonna skip this episode, which I don't mind skipping the episodes because I've seen them all a million times, and I'll see them all a million more times. Your daughter was 8 and loved the spider people. Yeah, I mean, different kids are different, and of course, you know your kids. You know what your kids are okay with and not okay with when it comes to scary stuff. For me, I'd have no problem with the Spider People episode. I don't care what age the kid is. If it scares them, they'll let you know it scares them, and you can just turn it off. Easy. I mean, I've been watching since I was little. I watched Aliens when I was little. I got scared from The Wizard of Oz, scared me. The Witch scared me. And then other stuff I could watch and it didn't scare me. You just got to take it situation by situation, I guess. Unk the Giant Tardigrade with the Pen 1S, the penis feature is the personification of a penis joke. Yeah, Unk. I love Unk. I love watching them walk around in Unk's legs without the top of Unk on. You could behind the scenes stuff where they're just in the legs walking around. And you're like, oh, they don't have the top on. There's a person inside of Unk. Whatever happened with a new JP series? What's that? Oh, talking about a new show? Is that what it was? So I talked about The Last of Us. I did a bunch of Last of Us videos, but it's just such a hard nut to crack that I decided, I'll just go to conversation. So we do live shows. We talked about, well, it's kind of weird this week because The Last of Us aired Friday instead of Sunday. And I do a show on Thursday, so didn't really get to talk about the new episode of The Last of Us. But yeah, The Last of Us, another thing I loved about the latest episode is, and of course this goes with the episode 4 as well, because this was a two-parter episode, how they gave the villains a face. They actually gave them a backstory. One thing I was really surprised about, in the latest episode, we learned that the bad guys, the revolutionists, only had control of the area for like 11 or 12 days. I figured they got there and it's been a year or two that they were back in control of their own lives and didn't have the QZ and Fedra to worry about. It wasn't even a full 2 weeks yet. They were just barely figuring out stuff. And I guess the lady in charge, Catherine, or Kathleen, I think it is, her number one priority is getting revenge on collaborators as opposed to getting things set up and figuring out how to take care of this settlement now that you fought for all these years. She was just straight up all about revenge. One thing about The Last of Us Part 2, the game, it's all about the effects of revenge. Being too concerned, concentrating too much on revenge will take everything away from you, and it did for Kathleen and the entire population. That they're all going to be overrun. All the people that didn't even make it to fight at the sniper house, that stayed back in town, they're all done. They're done. The cordyceps zombies are going to make their way there. Turn them all, eat them all, tear them apart. You got a bloater that's got free reign over there, just doing whatever he wants to do, ripping up people. I don't know if a bloater could even infect anyone at this point. They're just too big, too strong. They'd be like Frankenstein in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Even if you're trying to be gentle, which I doubt a bloater is going to try to do, you're going to hurt people. Silly Frankenstein. I bet you Unk's the same way. But we will be talking about, I will be doing a hardcore concentration of Ted, the Ted series by Seth MacFarlane, co-starring Scott Grimes, by the way. I believe Scott Grimes is probably playing the dad of the series. That'll be a hardcore thing, because I know that I'll be one of the top channels talking about that show. Everyone else is going to be talking about whatever Star Wars things come out or whatever superhero thing. So I'll be able to concentrate on Orville adjacent projects. So that's kind of my focus. But also during the live shows every week, we could talk about whatever we want to talk about. But yeah, I was trying to into getting all these. I was trying to make The Last of Us a new series to talk about, but it's oversaturated. And I had to remind myself. I'm like, oh, duh! Why did I even think of that? Everyone's going to be covering this. I just wanted to cover it because I was into it. Everyone else, a lot of other people are wanting to cover it because it's the latest thing. So I was like, oh, that's not going to work. And but if I put out Orville stuff, people still tune in a little bit, as opposed to hardly anything at all with the other series. But I'll be doing a big to-do for Ted. We'll be doing the countdown, the build-up videos, the going back and catching everyone up about the entire universe of Ted, so that everyone is ready and prepped for when the new Ted series comes out. Plus, I know the people that are making Ted, and they know about me, so they'll be giving me, they already do a little bit, and I can't share information about Ted. So I can't wait to work with these wonderful people again in promoting this series and talking about the series. And then hopefully we'll be learning more about an Orville renewal as we get closer to Ted, or even during the run of Ted. Thanks, VRAR. The Grimm brothers' fairy tales are all blood and gore, far beyond what's allowed nowadays, even in higher age restrictions. Yeah, it all depends on context and education. I mean, it's just about being there to explain things. But yeah, adult situations, I do not shy away from kids learning about more adult situations. Not some situations, not like porno and crap. But, just, loss of people, relationships of people, and just want to be there to explain. So hopefully they grow up to understand things a little bit better and not have to guess. I've seen what happens when kids have to guess about what's going on. They're going to get it wrong. And if they're young and they get it wrong and aren't educated about it, they grow up with it being wrong. And that usually causes more problems than not. John Smith, the chick that plays Lysella is in the Ted series too. Oh, is she? I haven't looked into all the people in it yet. I mean, the last time I did, they only had a couple of people cast so far. That would be great. And also, the woman that plays Lysella, I expect her to be in the next season of the Orville. She'll be the fish out of water character. They have to explain the future to her all the time, which then explains situations to us so we understand. She should be a great context builder. But yeah, I expect to see her working on the ship somewhere. Not probably as an officer, but maybe she'll work at Muska's or find some other thing to do. They got other types of jobs in the Union on the ships that have nothing to do with serving, unless it's serving chicken tikka masala. That's awesome. Thomas, how's it going? I never even saw the Ted movie. Now I will, and watch the show and come here for support. Anything by Seth is worth the time. I agree. Now with Ted, I will say there's some very adult language in there, so you might want to be careful with the kids. It's a teddy bear movie, but it is raunchy. There might be too much stuff to try to explain to a kid. But yeah, super raunchy, hilarious. I bet you the TV series isn't quite as raunchy. It's probably it's going to be a little bit more thoughtful, I think, but some of that raunchiness will definitely be there without a doubt, because that's what the Ted series, that was part of the appeal of it when it first came out. But of course, creators mature, and Seth has matured. But yeah, the Ted movies are hilarious, but they are raunchy movies. They're going to say a lot of cuss words and a lot of dirty things. But you're going to see some fun cameos. If you go to my... I've put up a bunch of Ted shorts in the last couple weeks, especially with Patrick Warburton and Michael Dorn. I don't want to ruin it for you. And if you don't want anything spoiled, don't go look at the shorts right now. But Ted 2 has some amazing cameos that will blow your mind. VR AR cat lover question to me. I work in virtual reality, which can be like being in a movie. A great storytelling too. Easy to sell. I am more interested in the AR than the VR, but I do appreciate both. I think AR is going to be a big thing in the future. I mean, it's already, there's some pretty damn good AR right now, but I think that could be expanded into some pretty amazing stuff, and I'm sure they're already planning on it. And VR AR would know more than I do. John Smith says, well, I'm starting to crush on her, so she'll probably be forcibly removed from the show somehow. That would be just your luck, wouldn't it? And I think, of course, if she is in season 4, that we might be making a visit back to her homeworld of Sargas. Sargas 4, isn't it? AKA Century City. AKA Avenue of the Stars. For those of you that know LA, know what I'm talking about. You heard that the Queen was in Ted movie. Possibly, I can't remember. I doubt playing a role even herself. I'll have to watch it. I don't remember the movies. I haven't watched them recently. I've watched bits of them very recently, but I haven't watched the full films all the way through in a very long time. But it's on my list of things to do, because my goal is to be the actual Ted evangelist, to know more about it than anyone else. But we still got a few months to even have to start worrying about it. That's why I'm like, okay, let's do these live shows and watch parties and really have a good time together. Oh, wait until you see the Ted 2 cameos. Oh, man, you are going to love it. Ann Winters doesn't have an IMDb listing for Orville. Anyone know what she's up to? I don't know what she's up to lately. She doesn't have an IMDb listing? I could have swore I saw her on there. I could have swore I did a ton of research on her on IMDb. I hope Ted releases the seasons on Blu-ray. Well, it's a Peacock. Actually, I don't know much about Peacock and Blu-rays. The only thing I know about Blu-rays is that Fox doesn't really do them very often. But I do know that Hulu and Disney Plus do Blu-rays. So I'm expecting at least a New Horizons Blu-ray, if not all 3 seasons Blu-ray. Oh, season 3 of Upload. I'm very interested in that as well. Upload is a great show, you guys, on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, it's there. 2 seasons. Such a fun little, like, it technically is a sci-fi show. It just doesn't have that sci-fi show feeling. It just takes place in the near future. Technology's a little bit better, and they got some fun stuff going on when it comes to your afterlife. Great story. I cannot wait for season 3 of that. I hope we get a season 3 of that. Amazon has all the money in the world, so I bet you they make a 3rd season of Upload, because it has a pretty decent size fan base. Oh, Synchro, go watch Upload. It is fun, and it's got some interesting stuff to ponder. And however it starts off, they can go way further. They will be surprising you. You'll think the universe is one way, and they'll be able to keep expanding upon it, where they can do more than you thought. You meant after Orville. After the Orville. I did do, we did do on Twitch, Upload Season 1 and Season 2 watch parties. Those were big watch parties, because we did the full seasons at a time. So it'd be like 10, 12, 13 hour watch parties. I remember one time we did, maybe it was Orville season, I can't remember if it was season 1 or season 2, or maybe we did both separate times. Orville watch parties where we watched all of season 1 at once, and then another time we did all of season 2, That was like a 13 to 14 hour watch party for me. Well, season 2 would be 14 hours, and season 1 is probably 12 to 13 hours. Because we chatted a lot before and after as well, so it was extra long. But all right, you guys. Yep. VR says, yep. Yuppers on the AR teaching surgeons, tracing surgeons. I don't know. I don't know if either those are the word and I don't know it, or maybe it was a typo. I don't know. Teaching. There's the correction. Okay. AR teaching surgeons. Gotcha. Oh yeah, AR would be perfect for that. I bet you with AR, I could be a surgeon. I can do the surgery thanks to AR. Definitely a TED watch party. I guess we'll do... Oh, I don't know. Well, we can do the show. I don't want to do the movies because they're too raunchy. All the subtitles would be way too raunchy. And YouTube does have a problem. They will demonetize your entire channel for bad words now. They started that like a month or two ago. If you have a bunch of bad language in your content, they will demonetize you. And I can't afford that. I can't afford anything. Oh, must be hilarious. Paddington Bear with the raincoat and little hat. Now, if you guys are on Twitter, you follow Tom Constantino. He posts pictures of Ted a bunch, like actual Ted, the Teds that they use in the show, because he's the editor for Ted. The editor for the Orville is the editor for Ted, and he posts pictures of Ted in his office all the time. It was for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. But yeah, Ted would be probably a little too adult for YouTube. Unless I disable the subtitles. Because visually, I don't think there's anything truly, truly bad on Ted. I would have to go back and check it out. But words-wise, and words hurt people the most. Even though they say they'll never hurt them. People get hurt by words the most. You could tell by their actions of how hurt they are. The words are... It's a non-stop raunch fest, words-wise. Seth is so dedicated to his friends and co-workers. That he is. That I have noticed. Yes, and rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. I don't think the UK will ever have a monarch, I should say, quite like that one. Her reign was supreme. Very long. Through so many... she was there for so many changes in the British Empire. The pen is sharper than the sword. That it is, I agree. Long live the king. Oh, sorry to hear that, VR. But with the skills that you have, you'll be back up and running in no time. I absolutely believe that. The skills pay the bills, you guys. So you gotta make sure you have a wanted skill. John Smith says the cameo that happens when Ted is working at the store that continues in the post-credits scene in Ted 2 is hilarious. Now, if you've already seen the Ted movies, I got a bunch of shorts on my short shelf on the channel that featured Ted, and people are digging them. I do have to say. Pro tip for those of you that are doing YouTube, shorts are where it's at right now. I don't know how long it's going to last, but just in the last 28 days, I just checked it here a second ago. My channel's gotten 1.8 million views, almost exclusively thanks to shorts. The shorts is where it's at. They're a little bit harder to get picked up as they were a few weeks ago, but they still can get picked up. pretty well. If you got a channel, try them out. Even if you're not monetized, your shorts are monetized. They're not going to bring in a bunch of money or anything like that unless you go super viral. But they'll bring in some chump change, at least from what I can tell. Let's see. Brian Dawkins, Ted. Where'd it go? I made love to her with a parsnip, then sold the parsnip. Yeah, you get some raunchy stuff like that. When they're talking about Johnny's porn problem, that is a hilarious scene. But I don't want to repeat it. Yeah, but Seth is dedicated to his pals, people he's worked with. He was obviously very dedicated to those who were involved with Star Trek Enterprise, because so many people from Enterprise production work on the Orville production. Got to go through the IMDb's, I guess, to compare and contrast, but there are so many. David A. Goodman, executive producer and one of the head writers for the Orville. He also does all of the Orville comics and also just came out with his own sci-fi comic this week. I don't have a link here, but there's a link on the community tab for his sci-fi series. It looks like it's probably a lot like what people thought the Orville was going to be when it first premiered. The comic that he just came out with Dark Horse looks like it lives up more to that ideal. But yeah, he was one of the writers and producers of Enterprise, or at least a writer. I was just making up the producer thing, but it might end up being true. Yeah, Seth is a very dedicated guy. I think a lot of people are like that. You can find people that you work well with and you want to keep them around. And he has the power to do that. Now, you guys, I do have to end this stream. It's been a couple hours. I got a whole family back here that I've been keeping in a cupboard that want some family time. So I'm going to be leaving you guys right now. But I do want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Great conversation. Had so much fun watching Domino and chatting about Domino and other things. We're going to be doing it every week for a while. And all the support, everything from you guys, it really means the world to me. And I'll see you guys very soon. And as always, we all do better